of many megatrends. Of course, rapid population aging among them, and also the unprecedented pace of digital transformation. These forces offer immense potential, but also present significant challenges, particularly for older populations. We all know how our region is aging really fast, and we all know the numbers as to how by 2050, the number of older persons in our region is going to exceed 1 billion. And remember, we're also looking at a considerable number of 80 and above. We often look at 60 and above. Remember, older persons are not a homogeneous group. The 80 and above, which have some special considerations. Now, this demographic shift underscores the need for us to build and really envisage inclusive societies where all age groups can thrive together. This is for the first time, as was elaborated by our Executive Secretary this morning in her address, that in the future we'll have significant cohorts of older persons, different age groups living together in large numbers. And that would mean a different way in which these groups interact. We need to have very strong intergenerational solidarity and intergenerational relations which contribute both ways. It's not a one-way street. We all know that our region is very proud that we lead the world in digital innovations, at least in many ways. But the digital divide is a reality in many parts of our region, especially for older persons. And remember, the divide is not just about access to technology. It also means having the ability to use the technology, especially digital technology, effectively. Failure to address this gap, as you know, risk that we're going to leave a very large proportion of the population, growing segment of our population behind. We all know digital technology can be a game changer, and it can really change the lives of older persons and the population, the way society functions. If we strengthen the digital skills of older women and men, it will enable them to remain engaged in the labor market for longer, enable them to be productive, and also will benefit their physical and mental health. But none of these strategies will succeed without strong partnerships. And as our friend, Mr. Cherian here keeps reminding us, listen, none of this can happen without the involvement of civil societies and organizations of older persons. And we see this slogan in the disability movement, nothing about us without us. I think this applies equally to older persons. You know nothing about us without us. It's vital that the voice of older persons is heard and their participation in policy development is really structurally addressed. It's not about doing something ad hoc as tick the box. In our session today, we are going to focus on technological solutions that enhance the quality of life of older. And we are looking at the range from healthcare innovations to tools that reduce social isolation and strengthen intergenerational connections. We will also delve into how technology, applications, and innovations can support independent living, allowing older persons to age in place, which is one of the, and with dignity. And that's really a term that's being stressed repeatedly. Our work today will lay the groundwork for the session tomorrow, where we'll look into the policy aspects and further explore how technology can bridge the digital divide and also strengthen intergenerational relations. But we're looking much more at the policy aspect tomorrow. But we know that there's no clear line dividing. There'll be an overlap, but that is the rough plan that we have. We'd like to emphasize that digital inclusion is not just a technical issue, it's a matter of social justice and rights. And it's important that we understand it that way. We need to work across generations, sectors, and borders to ensure that older persons are not left behind in the digital age. So, like all of you, I really anticipate a really rich discussion today, and I hope that we'll get a lot of innovative ideas and discussions that will emerge from this session. Thank you for your dedication to this cause and being here to encourage us. I now hand over the floor to my colleague, Sabine Henning. Over to you, Sabine.
Thank you very much, Mr. Tata. And this will be the first round of panel discussion. I would like to ask the panelists to please come up and sit with me here on the podium. Thank you very much. And just to introduce our panelists, our distinguished group of panelists, I would like to recognize Professor Mio Ong from Runtendo University, Japan. I would also like to recognize our colleague from Gravis, Mr. Mishra, Rahul Mishra, and then, of course, Mr. Peter Chan from ADB, Asian Development Bank. And they actually were tasked to provide spotlight presentation on digital technology and how it can enhance the lives of older persons, focusing on digital technology in general, different aspects of digital technology. I don't want to take more time. We should make use of the expertise we have with us today, and there are PowerPoints also that will be shown. And I will first give the floor to Professor Ong from Japan. Over to you.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, I'm Associate Professor of Global Health from Juntendo University, Tokyo, Japan. And this is the Juntendo University, which is located in the central Tokyo. And the topic today is the digital technology, population, aging in Asia and the Pacific. First, I would like to say thank you very much to UN ISCAP and Helmish India for inviting me. The home of more than 4 billion people, this Asia and Pacific is projected to have more and more people over 60 in the proportion. I think in 2050 is very similar to the current situation in Tokyo. And then if you look at the net number, the South is also having the same number of older persons over 60 comparing to the North. So this is the how serious is the population aging. And then global mega trends with the population aging. Another one is the growing digital technology, and uniformly occurring in the world is the digitization policy. If you look at this demographic, Japan is now 1 out of 3 person is older person. In Republic of Korea, Singapore, and Thailand, 1 out of 4 people are almost over 65. So, and at the same time, the internet use among the older person is quite heterogeneous, and in Japan, 1 out of 2 older person cannot use internet. So then, we conducted a study called the Digitally Inclusive Healthy Aging Communities, and digital divides are heterogeneous. In some countries, they don't have access and they don't have device. So that is called the primary device. This and second level device is due to the lack of the digital skills, which is occurring in high income countries such as Japan. And the reason for this is the simultaneous occurrence of aging and digitization in the low and middle income country, where the industrialization is still ongoing. So it is very important to eliminate these digital gaps. So we need to aim access equity, usage equity. So these two can promote the participation of older persons in the education, health. And this is called the screen ecology. You can see the type of the social media apps used in Japan, Korea, Singapore, and Thailand. Commonly used apps such as the Facebook and YouTube ranking higher. And at the same time, social media apps are different. In Japan, Line; in Thailand, Line; in Korea, Kakao; in Singapore, WhatsApp. So then the way they value these apps is using the phone is quite different. So now today, digital empowerment program in Shibuya City in Tokyo, this is bringing about more than 2,000 people were trained over 2 years through the individual training and group training. The digital skills are fundamental human rights. So it is promoting how they can use smartphone, and then that will promote their e-health literacy. And at the same time, there is a concern about the cyber security, the online fraud. So Tokyo Metropolitan Police and university and a student together make an intergeneration program and helps older person to educate digital security. And here is another example of the interacting policy. The global mega trends are interacting so that the policy should be also interacting. It is an example in Singapore, the Senior Go Digital plus the Healthy SG360. These two policy interact. It's make the Singapore to be very much digitized. Singapore, the healthcare is not free. However, smartwatch was delivered free to all the citizens. And another example is in South Korea, where the AI is quite developed in terms of the global wise. So over there, the primary healthcare center has only one nurse. And then the AI IoT mediated devices were delivered with the $200 flat rate to the older person, so the nurse can help them for health promotion. Another striking example is in Thailand, an app called the Smart Volunteer apps that helps the screening 1 million people in a year very quickly. That was very outstanding. And here we came with the policy area for eliminating digital gaps. Access, equity, and initial use can be helped by family and friends. However, sustained use and equity and participation, it's require the policy pathway utilizing community resources and service integration. How can we integrate these services? It's the policy pathway paving towards the synergistic policy and program. Then we have to strategically use application to integrate the public services. So that's the end of my presentation. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, and in particular for highlighting some good practices from Japan. We will have a short Q&A at the very end, so without further ado, I would like to give now the floor to Dr. Peter Chan from ADB to make a short presentation.
Thank you very much for HealthCap to invite us. I have only 5 minutes to talk about this topic, and I only have 4 slides. So be quick, okay? First of all, the focus of my presentation will be about improved access to services, foster intergenerational relations, and support age-friendly community initiatives. So that will be the 3 major themes I want to talk about. Next slide. Next slide. Okay, so when the chairperson asked the country, I'm the only one who, it looked like I'm the only one from Canada. So if you allow me to do some self-promotion, this is an organization called Age Well. Basically, it's a federal, that means a national government organization. It's a non-profit. They're funded by the federal government, but they run independently. Their main major mandate is to promote research in aged care, in age tech, particularly in give out funding to support different organizations in age tech research and also develop this kind of product. The way how they classify tech is very interesting. They don't classify in terms of AI, machine learning, or remote telephone. No, they classify them into technology that support home and communities, support access and independence, autonomy and independence, as well as some other thing. But 2 of the things they talk about basically are also related to healthcare and social services access, and also staying connected. So if you look at this picture, basically healthcare does or can do a lot of things. You can almost imagine these are the 2. These are not the only 2, but they can do a lot of other things as well. And if you're including this framework, I can assure you, we are promoting an age-friendly initiatives or communities. So please, if I had the wisdom from this one, I would say, don't classify our tech in terms of tech, but in terms of their functionality. And these are the way how Age Well in Canada classify. I thought it might be worthwhile for us to consider. Next slide, please. Now, these are the 3 apps. Now we come back to Asia, happening in Asia. The first one, of course, is from Thailand. Health at Home. I was told they just raised another $1 million. And that, of course, on the right-hand side is the give or 5 good, sorry, not give good friends, 5 good friends Australia. They are the same. They try to link a family member with the service provider. Imagine this, when your mom needs to go to a hospital for an outpatient visit. And this organization take your mom there, and then from time to time report back to you, how was your mom doing? And at the end, when your mom returned home, they take a picture of mom drinking coffee or drinking a cup of tea, send it to you. You are so comfortable. This is exactly what they told me. That the picture in the middle is in fact Gideon. I have known her for some years. And what impressed me the most is that she raised funding. She raised two venture fund and also angel fund. In total, I think she raised about almost close about $6 or $7 million. And starting from 2020, the organization become profitable. And mind you though, this kind of thing also happening in Indonesia. I'm so excited about this kind of thing happening in Asia. And I thought, if country that hasn't started, please start this kind of, this is the most simple way you can bring people access to service, link services to people. These people can order service at the comfort of their home. Very simple thing. And more importantly, they attract funding. And so these are all social capital. These people, they're not from government organization. These are individual vendor, and they raise funding. And the funding organization, venture fund or angel fund, they like to fund this kind of project. So please, you haven't started yet, start one in your country. Next one. Now, because my topic is also talking about intergenerational relations, no other activity can encourage intergenerational interaction than technology. The picture you see here is the Intergenerational Center in Germany. They're helping each other, the young people teaching the elderly how to use computer and smartphone, that kind of thing. This is happening in China, this is happening in Indonesia. In the project we are doing, in what we call a community care hub, we have 5 sites. And each site, we also teaching our elderly and encourage our young people teaching the elderly use of computer and smartphone as well. Don't forget, the app that I like is called Peer Care. This is by the elderly for the elderly. Why is by the elderly for the elderly? The app connect 4 or 5 people, unrelated. These people may live alone, but in case anything happens, the other 4 people will be notified right away, and they respond. Are you okay, Peter? Say, oh, just an alarm, false alarm. Don't forget. But if I did not respond, they will then notify my next contact or notify the police or paramedic. But no matter what, this is a simple device using the app to ask the elderly to help each other. Of course, I should not just emphasize on the app. I think the other kind of technology, they are also very important. So I mentioned here, I want people to think about technology, not just simply on digital technology or smartphone, that kind of thing, but thinking about assistive technology. These are very, very important things, to help us in the care of elderly. Next slide, the last slide. And as always said, tech tools are only good if people start to use it. You can give I give phone to my mother-in-law. You never use it. You never use it because you didn't want to use it. You said, I don't need that kind of phone. So what is it? So unless they want to use it. So in order to get people use it, we need to have 2, at least from my perspective, 2 skills we need to know. One is the nudging technology. Of course, we give the watch to the elderly free of charge. That is not good enough. The good enough thing is something I learned from China when I worked there under ADB project. Oh my goodness. They give you a watch or a phone, but they also put about 15 US dollars. In fact, it's 100 renminbi, which is about 15 US dollars. And the elderly has to use the phone in order to use that money. So they're in a way nudging the elderly to use the phone more effectively. So I thought this is some of the things we need to spend time and see what are the skills, what are the techniques they can get the elderly involved. Okay? And the second thing I think is important is that we need to move from a concept of co-production to co-creation. Co-production means is in the whole production process, we might involve the elderly or the family member at the end of the production, like customer satisfaction or focus group meeting. At the end, when the product is available, maybe it's too late. So now the visionary so-called tech developer, they involve the family way before the product is produced, even in the design stage. So this is what we call the whole value change process. And this process is what we call co-creation process. And I think this is an important concept we need to remember. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I think this is a really interesting presentation in terms of not only talking about the technology part, but also making older persons and people in general use these technologies and what it takes to get there. And maybe it's as simple as you were just describing. So I think something really inspiring. And with that, we will hand over to our next presenter from India, Mr. Rahul Mishra, who will talk about good practices using technology for older persons in vulnerable situations. Over to you.
Sabine, thank you, Escape and Helpage International, for inviting me for giving such a presentation. When we talk about the vulnerability of older people, as we know, the aging process is very diversified. So the opportunity, challenges, and resources are also diversified. Right? So we, as a CSO, work in the rural Thar Desert, which lies in northwest part of the India, mainly in the state of Rajasthan. And the reason is obviously drought-prone region. We receive very less rain, sometimes 150 millimeter in a year. So that is a very much a dry land, and due to this, there's a lot of water insecurity as well as the food insecurity in the region. These are the struggles of all the community, but particularly in the case of older people, it is more severe. And there are inadequate healthcare services. It is not just about the healthcare centers, it is about the accessibility as well, because a lot of population live in a very scattered way. So access to healthcare services is not possible for them. Plus, coupled with that, the healthcare center is not upgraded to deal with a lot of geriatric health issues as well. So main center are in districts or capital cities, but not in rural areas where we are actually working. In search of livelihood, because there's less water and food security, so youth, particularly men, have to migrate in search of livelihood, leaving behind the women and children with their older parents. So this also develop intergenerational gaps. Next slide, please. So when we talk about the technology gaps in Thar Desert where we are working, so most of the OPs are illiterate and are not able to use digital technology. And the reason is that the Rajasthan still has a very low literacy rate, and in terms of older people, the literacy rate is just 28.8%, so which is the overall literacy rate of older people. But when we think about the rural Thar Desert, it is even more less. Due to scattered nature, there are very less possibility to access the resources. There are irregular power supplies as well in the rural part of the Rajasthan. Why there's so almost 30% of the household have up to 12 hours power cut daily, sometime even more in the rainy days. Affordability to smartphone, because there's limited resources. A lot of older people live below poverty line. So accessibility to the smartphone and other digital device is a challenge as well. When we think about the older women, so they are more deprived. They don't have resources, they don't have any income, so they are more deprived and excluded in context of digital technology. Next, please. So when, this is a brief about my organization. We are a CSO working in the Thar Desert, Rajasthan. We believe in integrated development approach, and we work for the leadership of older people through through their inclusion and intergenerational exchange. Our main areas are water, agriculture, health, education, community mobilization, but we also use technology in various programs of older people as well. So our approach, our philosophy is Gandhian philosophy, so that we can include each part of section, each part of community in our programs, and we work for most vulnerable section of the society. And we are right now covering more than 2 million people through various programs. Next, please. So what are the technology we are using for the older people? We can't say these are the good technology or a best technology, but still we are trying to figure out how we can empower them by using these kind of technology. We are using them in community mobilization. We have created the groups so that they can form their older people associations. They can form the intergeneration groups. So one is innovation, like mobilizing community through technology, and through formation of intergeneration groups, they are exchanging their ideas and information. They share a lot of information of WhatsApp. They do Zoom calls, video calls. Yeah, of course, facilitated by the organization. And also lot of older people are still engaged in farming activities. They are the key decision maker when coming to the agriculture sector. So there is no benchmark there up to what is they will do the farming. Still men are very much engaged in farming business. So there are AI-based chat box. So they can use these chat box and get all the information related to crops, identification, and for seeds, fertilization, just on one click. And as well, they can, if they are able to go to the e-kiosks, we call them e-mitra in the India, so they can access e-kiosks and get a lot of information related to market linkages, where are the buyers, and what are the market prices right now. So they can negotiate with, so there's no need to personally visit the marketplace. They can just negotiate, and buyer will come at home and take it from there. And after the pandemic, there was very less chances for older people to go outside. So we have connected them with a lot of government programs like COVID vaccination and providing them health insurance. Next, please. So virtual healthcare is also increased, and a lot of older people have started using telephone and video consultation, use of telemedicine. With the help of a network we have developed, like village health workers. So GIS mapping is not being used by the older people, but we are using for them. So that they can access to ample amount of the water. So because one of the sector is water harvesting for older people that we are doing. We are doing a lot of online trainings for older women, so that they can get an idea of microfinance, and they can access a lot of banking services, like getting bank statement, getting SMS of pensions. So we are enabling them to do all these things. And virtual trainings on a lot of topics we do, like agriculture, water management, and self-care. Next, please. So this is the last slide. That right now, 100,000 older people have been benefited through these small technology-based interventions. Large number of older people are accessing the government programs through the e-kiosk like e-mitra. Older women are also using technology, but their number are not significantly high. So there are key messages, like when we talk about the digital technology for the older people, the role of CBOs, like the Older People Association and intergenerational groups, are very, very crucial. And we need involvement of such groups in the rural setting where we are working. Like we see CSOs also have potential to bridge the gap, but there are always challenges of resources, and we also need such kind of capacity building. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for giving us an idea about special group, vulnerable or persons in vulnerable situation in India, and how you use technology in that context. I would like to open up the floor for maybe 2 questions for the panelists. We don't have much time, but I would at least like to give you the opportunity to ask a question here and there. Is there anyone who has a question for the panelist? I see in the back. Please introduce yourself, and the gentleman in the blue shirt. Yes. Yes, please.
Good afternoon, everybody, and very good three presentation from the lead top in here. So we are discussing about digitalization in healthcare, especially for the technology and aging population we are facing right now. And for this problem, I just want to ask for the experiences from the country like India or Canada, and even in Japan. So in Vietnam, I am trained from the Health Insurance Department, Ministry of Health of Vietnam. So in Vietnam right now, we are facing with when we build the national platform in healthcare. So we already issued the policy and regulation, and actually we have the big the IT company to support, to design the program, to develop the software. Actually, to go into the fact is that for the long life of supporting for the software developing in long life term, so we don't have enough money like the supporting from the tax, supporting from the fee, like we adding the IT fee into the health insurance or healthcare services cost. So that's why we don't have enough money to to nurture the software much more developed and updated.
May
So
I ask you, what is the question? Just because.
yes, the question is that very simple. So how the experiences from Japan and India and Canada, how can you in another way by the supporting for financial supporting for the software in long life of the software?
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. And one more question in the back. I see a gentleman in the back, please.
Good afternoon, everyone. This is Ambrish Shahi from the World Bank New Delhi office. So thank you for sharing the presentation. And the question I have is for all the panelists. What we see is one of interventions. You know, we have example from Gravis, Rajasthan. We have example from Japan. And these are all siloed examples. My question is, in your experience, how do we institutionalize this process of leveraging technology within the government process? Because even within the government, the different departments tend to work in siloed manner. And how do we institutionalize this? So yeah, I mean, I think that's the teething problem. I don't think the technology in itself is a problem. The other challenge is, how do we sort of nurture and foster the human-centered design? Because the tendency is to build a software.
Thank you.
So how do we institutionalize these things within the government process?
Thank you very much. If I may, I would like to suggest that Dr. Mio answers the first question and then the last question to the two of you.
Thank you very much. About the software and apps, actually, I think it is quite frequent that there are a lot of software and apps were developed, and if the consumer do not use it, that will disappear. The apps is the place where the user and developer interact, and then there is a feedback. So it is really depend on how it is user-friendly, age-friendly, and also, I mean, I want to address a little bit, that is not the silo, it is already in the multi-sectoral, because the development include local municipality, healthcare, social welfare, technology, and also older persons. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So I would like to answer in context of India. There are national program for elderly under the umbrella of National Health Mission, and there are already health center for older people, but there is issue of accessibility. And also, like role of CSOs and role of CBOs are very crucial to bridging the gaps, like let them enable to access the services. So they will not definitely not go to the chaos by themselves. We have to enable them to do it, and like we are already doing.
Yeah, I get it in my last slide. I did mention about two skill or two methods to leverage on the technology. One is we need to think about nudging. Nudging is a small skill, what we call economic behavioral economy skill, to get people involved. And I give you the example of China. How do they encourage older people to use smartphone? They won't use it. So what happened? They told the people that your monthly age allowance, which is about $15 per month, will be deposited to your bank, not to your bank, to your phone, not iPhone. It's a Xiaomi. It's a very low grade type of thing. So they have to use the phone to, if they want to spend this $15, they have to use the phone. So that, in a way, leverage their involvement in technology. Were they very successful? I can share with you. They were very successful. The smartphone take-up rate is beyond my imagination. And the second skill that is very important is that we need to adopt what we call a co-creation mentality. And I'm not here to talk about what we mean by co-creation, but what we are doing now in the industry, most of the time, Professor, with due respect, a co-production. You have the product, you have the app, and you ask people to try. Oh, I don't like it. So you let the market to eliminate the problem. But we said, no, we want the elderly to get involved early enough in the whole app or whole product production process. So this is some of the things, the whole co-production versus co-creation, using nudge technique to do it. And of course, these are the two topics we need to talk more. Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much. And this concludes our spotlight presentations. Please join me in thanking the panelists. I will now hand over to the second moderator, Mr. Prateep Chakrari from Help Age India.
Can I request my fellow co-panelists to come to the stage, please? Suraya Salim. Karkis, welcome. And this is Thuai, no. So first let me introduce myself, and then I'll also introduce my fellow co-panelists. So after the presentation from Peter Chen and Dr. Peter Chen and the other people in the earlier panel, this panel consists of people who have done something on the field, and they are going to present as part of a technology showcase. So my name is Prateep Chakravarti. I work with HelpAge India as its Chief Operating Officer. I also lead some of the technology initiatives which we are starting in HelpAge India because of course, the outreach of its programs, and some of the programs are pretty complex. So the person on my right is Mrs. Thuai An. She's a serial entrepreneur who has funded 4 startup projects, but she is basically known for Vietnam's first mobile application for the elderly called Hasu that addresses their physical health, mental health, and social well-being. She graduated from an MBA program from Adelphi University in 2017, and she was chosen among the first 16 global ambassadors by Samsung Global and UNDP. adjacent to her is Mrs. Suraya Salim. She is a graduate of the Faculty of Psychology, University of Indonesia. She became a volunteer at the Polito Foundation, which has been working in the field of post-traumatic stress recovery since 2005. And she was also the project leader in collaboration with Puli Foundation and UN Women to stop violence against women and girls. And the person you see on my rightmost is Mr. Charkis, who is the co-founder and CEO of a company called Young Happy, which is again a startup. And he's a passionate social entrepreneur, and he was inspired by the loneliness and depression that he saw in his own family members. So he created Young Happy, which creates a warm and engaging community where seniors can stay active, connected, and happy. So of course, my three co-panelists will present. So maybe I can ask Wai to start with her presentation.
Thank you very much, Mr. Prateep, for introducing me. And good afternoon, everyone. I'm very happy to be here, and it's my honor to present in such a stage. When we look at from the global scale, it is very macro problems, the aging. But for me, like about 10 years ago, I was only a university student, so it was my personal stories. It started from my own family. Next slide, please. So it is my grandfather's story. Can I have the book here, Ms. Hui? So it starts from my personal story. My grandfather was a very brave soldier who spent more than 50 years fighting for our country, Vietnam. And when he get older in life, and he was ill, his health was severely impacted by the consequence of war. And in his last 10 years, he was only in bed, and he was always sad and alone. One day I asked him a question: "What do you fear the most, Grandpa?" And at this time, I only think about maybe his fear of darkness, or maybe his fear of being lonely. But he answered my question, and he said he was really feared of being alone, and he feared of living life for longer. And it was totally a shock to me, because I thought he was surrounded by his family, and that's enough. But he was sad, and he thought he was a burden to the family. So that's why he didn't want to live any longer. And I was sad. I was really sad. So I asked him, you mean a lot to me. So how about like we can write a book together? And you know, like after 6 months, so this is the book that we wrote together with him. He didn't know anything about writing. You know, he didn't know anything about writing. And I said, you don't have to be worried about that. I can ask and you can answer. And then together we write the book together. And that's it. And he felt like really happy. And you know, like he didn't have money left for the family, but he has I think the book is mean enough for our family. So that's why my journey started more than 10 years ago, a long time ago. And then I continue on the journey to help other people who are like other family, who grandfathers and grandchildren just like me. In 2019, we built a toolkit for technology teaching, and then we distribute it along the nationwide in collaboration with 5 different ministries. And luckily, in COVID-19 started in 2000. Next slide, please. In 2020, we introduced a mobile applications, and we helped seniors practice at home, learn at home, connect with each other. So next slide, please. So we were really happy, like during COVID-19, and we can stay at home, and we see like thousands of people exercising daily. You know, like we see, like it was very funny. Like some people putting the camera like in the ear, and I see the hole in the ear, and I was like, can you put a can you put the camera a little bit like further? please. And I see like a lot of smiley face during COVID-19, and people is trapped at home, and they see each other. They have meaningful conversation together, and it means a lot for us. Next slide, please. And then we started to bring my personal story inside the app, and basically we collect personal backgrounds, and we use a series of questions auto-generated, and the elderly people can speak to the phone and can answer. So we do voice record, and we transcribe it to text and pictures, and then we print it, and we create like books and ebooks like this. So every families can have their own personal story capture and preserve for generation and to generations. Next slide, please. So I really believe that anything that we do online is also like is only in the purpose to serve people, not any like bigger and further than that. Just simply as that. So we preserve talents. We preserve by books and ebooks. So we connect families together. We share stories between grandparents and grandchildren and grandchildren. We have a lot of cancer patients and other patients because you know, like when they face a very severe health issue, and in the mind they only think about like what can we do for other loved ones in the family. So this is what they can do. They can, you know, just lie down there, but they can still preserve stories, and they can still create values. So I think this is really meaningful for my personal family, and I believe that it also creates values for thousands of our customers in Vietnam. So broken families heal. And it is also the most meaningful gift for the children to give to the grandparents. Just as, you know, just as me like 10 years ago asking my my grandfather, do you want to write a book with me? Simple as that. And to be honest, I really want to do more than that, because I see a lot of people who get scammed. And we haven't had any like solutions, concrete solutions to solve the problem. But we are studying on how to help them. Because for example, like last week, I went to the bank and I see, you know, I saw crying couples, and I think they are like in 70s years old or something like that. But they got scammed because what they do was like they only borrow the bank a very small money, but they bring their red book, like the real estate. They bring the real estate to the bank, and they borrow a small money. But in the end, they got scammed by another person who pretend to be a banker. And so they took that book and they put in the bank. They borrow a very big amount of money. And then they give the couple a very small amount of money. So the couple lost their house. And at that moment, like only last week, I was like, what can I do for them? So you know that right now I'm thinking about that, thinking about like how can technology bring a solution, but very simple way. Like for example, they can only talk to the phone. They don't have to nowadays. They don't have to type, or they don't have to do something like too complicated. So they can have someone who help them online, or maybe the AI, or maybe the chatbot. I don't know, but I was just thinking about that like very recently. But I think maybe like in the next few years, if I have a chance to come back here again, and then we can have like small story to share. Thank you very much.
I think before we come to your presentation, Soraya, I think she converted her personal story of passion into something definite. So 3 key takeaways. I think someone was talking about user testing and how to get people participate in your mobile application. And I suppose COVID-19 gave her the idea of testing the application with 100,000 plus users all doing it. at the same time. And of course, there is this mixture of a human story plus app plus the book plus of course the experience of the banking scam being perpetrated on elders. So deeply passionate story. Thank you so much for your presentation. We'll go to your presentation, Soraya. So feel free to take the stage.
Good afternoon. My name is Soraya Salim. I am from Alzheimer Indonesia. Alzheimer Indonesia is part of Alzheimer Disease International. Alzheimer Indonesia is established 11 years ago by the founder, D.Y. Suharya, whose the mother is diagnosed with dementia in 2012. She's facing a lot of difficulties in accessing information and support, and that's why she built and established the foundation, Alzheimer Indonesia. And now, after going through 11 years of process, Alzheimer Indonesia already has the ability to give the services across the continuum of care, from prevention to early detection, diagnosis, treatment and care, and palliative care. Of course, Alzheimer Indonesia not doing it alone. It's really being helped and supported by partnership from the health experts, neurologists, psychiatrists, nurses, psychologists, occupational therapy and other therapists, laboratory, also institutions like university, and corporations, other NGOs, and government as well. Next slide, please. And we already done several intergenerational activities because we understand and we then learn that intergenerational relation is conveying a lot of positive impact for the person with dementia and for the family as well. Because you know, this disease is very exceptional, is a long-term illness, and it's affected the whole family structure. Next slide, please. When 2020 COVID attacked the world, it's becoming a great challenge to person with dementia and the family, especially. They're having difficulties in access towards support and helps for consultations and other kind of support. And there was Narazi being established at that time. Narazi is navigasi perawatan ALZI, or navigations to care for ALZI, for Alzheimer's. And it's basically is using WhatsApp and Zoom. So the consultations is changing from offline formats towards online formats. Using like people making appointment first with WhatsApp. We have the some sort of like a hotline numbers, and then making appointments to depending on the case, whether to the neurologist or whether to the nurses and etc. And then we find the experts, and then the caregiver navigators, we call it, being a moderator between the client, which is the person with dementia, or the family, with the experts that according to the cases. Care navigator playing the big role, because care navigators we selected among them who are already carrying the person with dementia before, so they have the experience and the whole experience and feelings how challenging it is to taking care of person with dementia. And we're so happy at that time because we able to reach around 400 to 500 families at that time across Indonesia, and for our clusters as well outside Indonesia in Sydney, London, Holland, and few city more. But then we realized that, next slide please, that in Indonesia estimated around 1.2 million is already become a person with dementia, or even more now. And there is where we realized that we had more challenge. It's not enough to reach 400 and 500 families. So there is where the initiative, the new initiative comes, where we think about having a platforms for this Narazi. So from a little bit of manual, becoming more digital, using digital technology. Next slides, please. And thanks to the support from the Irish Embassy, especially coming from the ambassador of Ireland, whose his mother is diagnosed dementia Alzheimer. And the Irish Embassy through ICMPS in-country projects micro schemes program, helping Narazi now in developing the digitalizations of the manual Narazi, becoming a platform. And now Narazi dashboard is ongoing process, and we really hope this technology can help and support us reaching more person with dementia and family to help them go through the long-term caring of their loved ones. And besides that, the next slide, please. Besides that, our social media is still going on, and we're also very happy that our social media is having increasing followers more and more. And that is really helping us in raising awareness about this disease, because it's a very, like I said, it's a very unique disease. From this morning till now, I'm already having a few people in this room or in the participant who's asking me about dementia and Alzheimer. So that means raising awareness is still a big homework for us, for people, especially in Indonesia, which is, we're not talking about the village yet. You know, we're talking about the big city, still big city now. Our clusters, around 23 cities in Indonesia, is still reaching quite one or second city in Indonesia. We're not yet reaching the small village. Next. And we're so happy again in this 20th September. We're about to having our first ALZI Academy, we call it, and Healthy Aging Center. We're already having the soft launch back in 23rd of August. And it has 4 types of services, which is early dementia detection, education and workshop, consultations, caregiver counseling, and meaningful activities. And the next slide, please. And it's going to be officially launched in this 20th of September. Also, we're in World Alzheimer Month. And like I said before, we have 4 type of services there, but in one particular service in education and workshop, we're inserted there the intergenerational focusing on technology as well. So our Gen Z and millennial is going to teach a senior how to use the digital, the gadget, and also to teach them about the possibility of the dangerous things about the gadget as well. So we hope we have all the support from all you in here to make our ALZI Academy and Healthy Aging Center works and able to provide services and maximizing the potential of senior people, whether they're having dementia or not dementia, to gain their quality of life. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Soraya. Dementia care, I think what you have actually done is a mixture of online and offline, and it's a very good example. The online example is the application along with the program dashboard that you are already doing it, and the offline is the ALZI Academy that you presented about. Here also we find a very good example of user testing in terms of intergenerational activities and the way to attract your stakeholders by using the application. So there are some good examples of program dashboards, real-time program dashboards, maybe to take decisions, maybe in real-time faster decision making on who or what is the number of people who are suffering from dementia. And it is also, and that is also a learning for me, maybe at HelpAge India, it's a very good example at telehealth, but with a concentration of older persons. In HelpAge India, we are also doing some telehealth activities, but not on dementia as of now. So we are going to learn from you. Thanks. I'll end there, and maybe Mr. Charkis, maybe you can present now. The stage is yours.
Okay, thank you so much, and very happy to be the last presentation, because I know everyone a little bit tired already. Okay, so we want to make quick, but just like 5 slides. Can you show for the first one? Okay, so first of all, I would like to present the representative of Young Happy, the active community in Bangkok, Thailand. Mostly we want to scale up to the whole nationwide. And this picture, I would like you to see that how curious of the senior citizen, right? Believe me, no one want to left behind, right? Even us, even me right now, if I have a chance to play with my younger age, right? They join in metaverse world, so that I can use that one too. So I think the digital literacy for senior is the opportunity and a challenge in the same time. I would like you to know this guy first. His name is Uncle Sumet, okay? He used to retire from bank, and I'm sure that is the same problem to anyone. When he retire, he have nothing to do, right? But he want to do something, but he don't know what to do. But I would like to fast forward. Right now, I met him again last 2 months in Chiang Mai. And he very exciting to meet me again. And hey, Gab, you know, right now, I have the new job. What is that? Oh, I be a content creator. What? A content creator. I help some small shop selling agarlang. You know agarlang, right? In the Buddhist, what is called? What is called? Like a flower that you go to the temple or the pagoda, right? He told me that shop he's selling is quite good, but I asked him, hey, do you want to sell more so I can help him? And I asked him how you support them. Oh, I use ChatGPT to create a content, right? And then I use another AI to generate the picture. And last one I combine with Canva to make it very nice. And I post it, and I earn around 100 USD per month. And I said, oh, it's very amazing, because in the weekend, he opened a small shop to selling some coffee. And I met him through online during the COVID, because at that time he cannot he cannot open the coffee shop. So that he tried to search how to sell online something. And at that time, Young Happy, we have an e-commerce course, and we teach them online. And very happy, thank you that we partner with the Thai government, like the DIPA, right, digital agency, so that support the funding. And it's very meaningful that from that point and right now, he turned to be another one. So this is just one example. Please go to what Young Happy done in last 8 years. I have to tell you that I'm start this social enterprise when I was 29. And at that time, I facing my challenge too, because my dad get retired and feel isolation and loneliness. So I start from my problem, right? And then I scale up to help other people. Slide, please. Okay, so I do 3 things, right? The first one, I create a friendly space for senior, not only an offline, but in online also. So we have more than 30,000 members on our platform right now. And mostly they connect to our app and our web app. And the second one, that we empower them growth, right? Because we do believe dream never old, right? Everyone have a dream, even they're 60. Somebody they want to be an actor, somebody they want to get a new job again. So we try to empower them. And last one, we try to connect them to the society. So we have many programs that make them to have a chance to interact with the younger generation or other generation. Next, please. So after we create, right? So we have a comfort bed for them that they can engage with among their friends. We have one measurement that if you are our member more than 6 months, you will have around new friend around 18 18 new friends after you join our community. Imagine when you're 60 already, right? You have a chance to meet friends less than before, right? But this is space that we want to promote them to comfortable to meet a new friend, right? And the second one, that the skill growth, I think this is very important thing because we target in urban senior, especially for middle class and upper middle class. So this class is kind of a class that lack of support from the government, right? Because they cannot reach the standard to get the lower support. And to the like very nice service, they cannot pay for that one. So they're stuck in the middle. So Young Happy try to like support on this group. And this group is a little bit challenged too because they cannot pay much. So that you need to facilitate, right? The benefit from the supporter, like the many corporate that they saw this is the good opportunity for them to like promote the product to be their customer in the future. And we need to facilitate that the benefit to support the senior in the same time. And the last one, the community. I think this is very important that if we can scale up our leader, right, to support in the local community, because right now we have the technology, so we have our partner in Chiang Mai or in other location that they can through online with our content and just use one facilitator over there. So it's reduce the cost because cost of activity. Many people talk about the activity for senior citizen, right? Activity is good, but it's costly. Imagine if you live in Bangkok, you have to go out from home, right, to join the activity. You have to pay for transportation. And when you go out of home, you have to pay for your lunch and other things. So activity is quite luxury for senior, if you see in the big picture. But activity is kind of a supplement, right? It's kind of the preventive solution. If you don't join the if you didn't join in the community or participant in society for a while, you will feel loneliness. And loneliness is cannot see by your eye, right? But it's effect inside. So that is the thing that I think comfort space is very important for them, right? Support them grow is very important. And last one, the community to make them feel belong to. Next slide, please. So this is the last one that I would like you to show the result of engage and the transformation, okay? So I can divide them in three groups. The first one we call the learner. From our 30,000 members, right? So the first group we call learner. The learner like P Jiep, right? In Thai we call P is means one older and Jiep is her name. Imagine when you wake up in the morning every day when you retire, right? Maybe everything is the same, right? Same chair, same table, everything is the same. But this is the program that we promote them to have learning every day. So the routine is very important solution for make everyone have more activity, right? So we have this calendar for them. So right now at this time, if you go in our website, right, younghappyplus.com, we teaching them how to use a CapCut. It is an AI video editor. So right now, senior, they didn't learn how to use just only the social media platform, but they want to be a creator. So she are the one who are online, right? Like maybe the same as Anne in Vietnam, right? Young people, when we have meeting, we close the video, right? We don't want to show our face. But for senior, different. They open the video. They want to show up. Sometimes we have to tell them to close because they take off their shirt also. So we need to stop that, right? But it's different, right? They want to engage. And she is the one that she tried to promote other people to, hey, and try to like summarize what the teacher teaching at that time. So this is the kind of the way that senior, they can engage each other. And more than that, they have meetup after the class. So this is the thing that we thought the community is the key to support them together. And the second one is doer. From 30,000 members, right, just around 10 to 15%, they be a doer. So what is mean doer? Someone who can contribute something back to society, like this lady. Right now, she be an English teacher, teaching online, and she get paid also in the same time. And last one, like Uncle Sumed, right, we call inspirer. Maybe just 1%, but enough, right? Imagine if you have, next slide, please. We plan to like support more than 100,000. Next slide, please. Imagine if you found inspirer like Uncle Sumed, right? Just 1%, how is impact to society? How the benefit society will get, and it's gonna turn the perception of the senior citizen. The slide, please. Okay. So this is our goal that, so we believe if we can support the senior, right, empower them, right? In next 2 years, if we can support 100, we will found 1,000 Uncle Sumed. And imagine Uncle Sumed is will affect to other people to be the example for the younger generation. And last one, I really like the Professor Hiroko, right? Just mentioned about we want to promote the active aging, right? And healthy aging. And last one, engage, right? So I think this word is very important. If we get old and if we live alone, why? Why we need to get 100 years and nobody live nearby us, right? So this is the community that Young Happy believe if we can create a comfort space, right? Promote them to engage with the society again and empower them. This is gonna be nice for them. ขอบคุณครับ
Thank you, Charkis. Three incredible stories of grit and determination and the power of digital connect, ensuring lesser social isolation. I would like to encourage questions from this group. So if you have a question, feel free to raise your hand. Yes, sir. Maybe
Hello.
you can also say to whom the question is addressed to.
Yes, okay. Good afternoon. Thank you very much for all of your inspiring presentations. My name is Fabian. I come from Indonesia, and I have a question that's probably a bit general for everyone, which is, did you ever face any resistance when you started your initiative and introducing your technologies from the communities? In other words, what was the process like of building trust with the communities in using your technologies or joining your programs? Thank you.
Resistant, right? Okay.
Resistance and maybe just trust building process.
Maybe I start from my like, personal, right? I think my generation maybe facing the challenge when we teaching our parents to use an app, right? So it's very difficult, right? I think if anyone have experience that time. So I think understanding is very important when you have a chance to teaching or support the senior citizen because they grow up in the different era. Like example, touch and place is different, right? If you look at senior, most of senior, when they use smartphone, they do like this, right? They will place, right? Similar to Nokia 3110, right? So that is very famous one, right? They will place like this. So they didn't touch, right? And another thing is like they physical, right, is different, right? Their eye, their size, their finger. So that is the barrier for them. And the last one is the incentive. I think this is the most important for them. Why I need to adapt myself to use the technology. So I really like Peter mentioned about nudge, right? In Thailand, we facing that challenge to during the COVID-19. But the government, they have an app we call Kapao Tang. It's kind of the wallet, right? If you want to get that money, you need to download an app. So senior citizen, they have to turn to the kid, right? And please teach me. But mostly in Asian culture, we have the hierarchy things. So that is the barrier in the sense that why I need to ask younger people to teach me. It make me feel like this, that one, right? They didn't feel incompetent. Why I need to obey the younger people to teach them something like that. So I think the incentive is the one can promote them. And understanding is the more important when you work with the senior citizen, how they know about the technology and how behavior of them. ขอบคุณครับ
Well, yeah. In us, probably is not the not the end beneficiary, the challenge, but more into our own resources. So being the care navigator is not really easy, and not so many. So meanwhile, their role is very important because they're becoming a moderator between the person with dementia or the family and the experts. So building or educating the care navigators from the caretaker into the care navigator. That's a challenge for us. But yeah, we're still going on, and we are so lucky in every event. There's always a volunteer that is willing to contribute their time for us, because previously it's volunteering things, but now we're starting to moving to the social enterprise. So it's they're also being paid for the services, and because our services is sort of similar with HelloDoc, if you're familiar with HelloDoc, but the difference is we have 1 hour services. So it's not a very, it's a quite a length of time, because we're talking about the person with dementia and the family. So it takes some time. So it needs more time and dedications to that. Thank you.
It's very funny is that I know that it's not so good when I say this, but everybody will change, are ready to change if they see the benefits. You know, like if we say to a senior person, hey, can you practice every day? It's good for you. So do you think they will practice? Probably not, right? Because it's not like we see it's good for them, but do they think it's good for them? So, right? In Vietnam during COVID-19, I don't know, but I feel like COVID-19 is also opportunity that the government forced everybody to use the QR code. So in Vietnam, you know, I was quite surprised that people who even have never used technology, they can use the QR code, just because they cannot spend money for a lot of things, and they are forced to use QR code. So, and when they use the QR code, they feel like it's not as hard as they thought. Just 1 or 2 buttons. So the first key is the simplicity of the app. So the first key. And the second key is that we have to show the benefits. So how can we show the benefits? For example, the service to write this book, if they want to have somebody who come and talk to them and to write the book, the cost is really a lot. For example, it can cost like 5K to 10K USD per book. And they thought, oh my God, it's so expensive. So are you ready to use something like still simple but cheaper? They were like, oh, okay, I love it. Like, show me. And then we show the solution in cheaper way. And they are ready to use because they see the benefits. And they are ready to try something like a little bit harder for them, but cheaper way. So, you know, it's a trick for them to see the benefit and use it, and are ready to use it. I see a lot of people say no with a lot of things in life, not only technology. A lot of people say no with reading a contract, to, you know, like challenge them doing something like they have never done. Like it's a normal thing. So showing the benefit. So I think it's one of the way.
Thank you. I am Hajar from Aisyah. Okay, I will ask when we talk about elderly access to technology. I think it is important we talk about intergeneration. The example when elderly who are micro entrepreneurs, so she want to sell the product in media social. So after we train the elder people, so she face difficulties when at daily. So, but not all younger people want to help her. So, how to encourage intergeneration for this issue, economic empowerment issue? So the second, maybe by Indonesian language untuk Bu Soraya ya. Tadi saya tertarik dengan yang akademi Alzheimer itu. Tadi Ibu sampaikan kalau ini baru di kota kedua gitu ya. Sebenarnya Aisyah kan juga bekerja di desa-desa gitu. Kita ada misalnya program sekolah lansia. Apakah misalnya semacam akademi Alzheimer itu bisa juga dibawa dalam konteks sekolah lansia gitu supaya isu ini karena juga dihadapi di desa bisa lebih memasyarakat gitu. Mungkin itu, terima kasih.
So can I answer by bahasa? Okay. Dengan senang hati Mbak, memang kami ingin sekali bisa mencapai daerah-daerah lebih terpencil karena memang justru di situ yang informasinya sangat terbatas. So ya, tadi mohon maaf, namanya siapa Mbak?
Hajar from Aisyah, Women Organization of Muhammadiyah.
Okay, Hajar.
Iya.
Namanya Hajar. Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
So Hajar was asking whether we can contribute to her program because her program is quite a lot reaching the villages. So we are so happy if we can do that and working together because that's our aim too. Because the villages is quote unquote untouchable yet. So yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much for your questions and my three co-panelists for taking us through their user journeys as well as app creation journeys. We stop the presentation here and over to Sabine and Adha.
Thank you very much. And we're running out of time, unfortunately. I know this has been a very lively discussion. We will close now and try to take some of the questions with us for tomorrow's session. And therefore, I will ask our director to give closing remarks. Thank you very much to the panelists.
Thank you very much. And I don't think there's any one of us who's not inspired. Well, the question was very simply to use this session to outline what great work that is happening out there and the opportunities that are available. We wanted to use a little short question and answer session actually to talk about why do some of these things work and what is the environment, what is the ecosystem that do you think that needs to be in place for this to happen. We'll address it as part of tomorrow's session, but we wanted to make a start today. But we know that it's been the end of a very long, exciting and satisfying day. But I would have to say that it's wonderful. It's the paradoxical nature of technology. Well, we know that it's got this incredible potential to improve our lives, provided we have the right framework, provided we have the right ecosystem, the environment in place. And I think that is the discussion that we're going to have tomorrow. And it was interesting, the gentleman at the back who made the comment that, well, you're discussing a lot of varied, interventions, but tell us about the bigger things that need to be in place. Yes, we wanted to do that in sequence. We wanted to, I think the point made by him was very valid, but that's the sequence that we were going in. Look at what's available. Look at what great work is going on already. The word intergenerational relations is not a cliche. It's actually being done in many ways. And that's how, and especially how technology is helping it and how it is helping technology dissemination and helping the lives of older persons. So thank you very much. I hope to see you all tomorrow as a follow-up to this to really understand how do we build the policies, the ecosystem, what needs to be in place for some of these innovations to take root. Again, that's going to be in partnership with our colleagues in HelpAge India. I would like to carry forward this momentum. I would expect to see all of you here. I would also like to bring to your notice, we have, I've been reminded by the organizers that we have a dinner which is hosted by Bapenas and the Australian government, which is going to happen maybe starting in a short while, in about half an hour, along with the local government forum that's going to happen in the Pechatu Hall, which is nearby. But thank you very much. May I have a big hand for all our panelists, our organizers, and above all, some inspirational speakers. Thank you very much. Have a nice evening.